Hey guys, it's Rich with another Tarot Talk Tuesday, and in this one I am doing a deck review and reveal of the Golden Tarot by Kate Black and produced by US Games in 2003. If you hear background noise, I'm going to try to cut it out, but I'm doing a load of laundry, and yeah, that's happening. Anyway, moving on into this, let's get into the Golden Tarot. I am really excited about this deck. I have not really dealt with this deck much because with these decks that I'm reviewing and revealing from September 3rd on until probably late March, I'll probably have enough tarot decks to review and reveal. And I might put some tag videos in there too. But these decks, I have told myself I am not going to deal with them at all until I actually do a review and reveal of them. So yeah, I love the artwork on this deck. I've already looked at it because I want to make sure they're in order, and I've even looked at the book a little bit. So first things first, little two-part box. US Games stepping up their game, pun intended. Love the little box, very nicely done. This might actually be one of the few tarot decks that stay in the box because it is nice, hard box, and I really like this deck. So I do want to keep it in good condition, but I do also think that this is going to be one of my primary reading decks because I love the artwork so much. So getting into the book, it's a 198-page book, and I'm looking on my notes here. It goes through acknowledgments, intro. These cards are a collaged type of style that is taken from artwork from the Middle Ages and early Renaissance periods. So it gives a little bit behind the artwork and how the artwork was done. It gives 4 different spreads, and let me see which spreads they have here, because it talks about how it's a digital collage. It gives a card of the day, 3-card spread, you know, your usual, your Celtic cross, usual, and the horseshoe spread, a usual. So yeah, it goes through those spreads, right? Yeah, 4 spreads. So it goes through those spreads, and it has 1 to 2 pages per card and reversal meanings. And then from pages 77 on, it tells where each image came from. And it breaks it down, like here's Suit of Wands. Sources, wand is from Jacques Derrit, and I'm probably mispronouncing this. Netherlandish painter, born circa 1404 and died in 1470. And it's from his altarpiece of the Virgin. It's oil on wood, 57 by 52 centimeters, and it's kept in the Stadtliche Museum in Berlin. So anyway, it tells where all of the different aspects for the collage are from, which I really appreciate because I'd love to see the original artwork that each one of these came from. I think they're beautifully done. And I cannot wait to actually delve into this this deck. So nice little tiny booklet. Actually, not tiny booklet. Like I said, 198 pages. Do I have on there? Right? Yes, 198 pages. So nice booklet to go along with it. And let me go ahead and bring you guys down so you can see the cards and compare them to the quote-unquote traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, as I do, you know. Okay, first things first, let's go ahead and check out the card size. The card size is a little bit longer and a little bit wider than the Rider-Waite-Smith, also produced by US Games. It comes with a nice little title card. It comes with a little title card from Kat Black, which reads, Golden Tarot is a compilation of collages from artwork of the late Middle Ages and early Renaissance. Poignant images of gentle beauty and human frailty came from a time of violence, pestilence, and oppression. These images speak to me of a truth that is timeless and hope that flowers even in the darkest conditions. It is my hope that they speak to you as well. Cat Black. So, nicely done. A little bit about the backs and the glossiness. The backs are reversible, very ornate looking backs. It has the glossiness of the older Rider-Waite-Smith, the plastic coating that I love so much. I really do. It gives me the sense that if something were to get on it that's wet, or maybe a little bit of food particles or whatnot, it's not really going to stain the cards. It'll come off fairly easily. So you can wipe down the cards a little bit. The newer Rider-Waite-Smith does not have that same coating, but I did find my Two of Swords that had gone missing for a little bit. So I did find that for anybody that's wondering. The edges are gilded. I do not like gilded edges, but for this one, the gilding wasn't too bad. They came apart fairly well. They didn't really stick together like the Tarot Illuminati did. So I kind of like that they didn't stick together like that deck did. So there's that. I know some people really like a good gilding on their cards. These can go borderless. The major arcana, you'd be cutting off the number at the top, but the minor arcana, you can totally go borderless and not have to worry about losing anything. So there is that. The thickness, they are a little bit thicker than the Rider-Waite-Smith. So you guys have an idea of the thickness of them. So nice sturdy cardstock, all that stuff. So now let's go ahead and get into the reveal of the cards. Let me make sure that they're straight. Well, I'm not a good judge of being straight, so hey, anyway. So, like I said, all these images are done from a collage, and you can look in the booklet and see what the images originally were and where they come from. I like that. I believe this is Christ as the magician. I really like that. I think that's very appropriate. I just really love the imagery on here. I think all of the imagery that has been put in here by Kat is very appropriately done. There's not a lot of type of movement in these cards, or a lot of movement depicted in these cards. They do follow the Rider-Waite-Smith flow. And as for it being a collage, you cannot really tell too terribly much that it is a collage of different pictures put together. That I really do appreciate. It looks like something from the Middle Ages or the Renaissance period in the way that it's all styled. It's all been put together and done up very nicely. So you can't really see a huge, how do I want to say it, a huge break in one picture to another. So I do really appreciate that. I think it's beautifully done. And if you're giving a reading that is to somebody that thinks, you know, hey, tarot is spooky and evil and everything, you can definitely use this deck as one that you can do a reading for them with, where they would feel a little bit more comfortable. Again, you have Christ in the Judgment card. So I think these are very nicely done. And for all of the aces, they have a different angel. So I did want to point that out. Like, now see here with the Two of Swords, and I'm hoping I don't get too much of a glare on here, you can't really tell that the swords have been collaged in there. I mean, you can tell a little bit, but it's not overly noticeable as it is with some collage type decks. So I think it's very beautiful the way that Cat Black has presented this deck. like I said, I think this is going to be one of my primary reading decks whenever I actually finish with this reveal, so I can actually start working with it a little bit more. Now, in this one, I like how instead of the person right here, or whatever this figure is, being concealed by a veil, if you actually look closely at this, let's see if I can get it in the image there, it actually looks like it's Christ. So I really kind of like that. I like that in this one it appears to be Mother Mary holding it open, and you have angels down here. You know, there's a lot of symbolism in this that is needing to be drawn out for me. So I really cannot wait to work with this deck. There's so many different aspects to it. Definitely feeling the Renaissance, Middle Age, artistic vibe coming off of these cards. It's just so regal in its way of it being portrayed. I do have a thing for older artwork. I do love older, more regal type of art from like Middle Ages and Renaissance period. I don't really have a taste for it in my house, but I really like the way that it looks overall. So this really does speak to me, even though I don't keep that type of artwork in my house. It speaks to me whenever I see it in books or whenever I see it in a card. So I really do appreciate this. Oddly enough, in my house I have like such an eclectic type of art genre, I guess. Maybe I'll have to do a video on all the different artwork that I have in my house, so you guys can see what type of artwork, I guess, resonates with me, even though it's not just one type of art. You know, it's very, very much kind of different, the way that everything is displayed. So that is the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. Very much looking forward to using this deck. probably going to use it for readings for clients as well as for myself. Like I said, this would definitely be a deck that you would want to use for somebody that is a little bit more fearful of tarot. Let's see how it shuffles. A little stiff. It just needs to be worked in a little bit. If it's anything like the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, the older ones by US Games that have the plastic coating on them, then yeah, I think it'll do well. It'll break in fairly well. This gold edging probably will, you know, fall away after a while. It'll come off after a while. And you know what? That's fine by me because I'm not really a fan of it anyway. But I do love the regalness of this deck. I really do. Let's see a sideways shuffle there. Whoops. Okay, I cannot shuffle myself. So what pops out is the King of Swords. That's an interesting King of Swords. Or no, I'm sorry, Knight of Swords. It's an interesting Knight of Swords. Yeah. Gonna have to think about that now. Okay. So yeah, sideways shuffle a little bit more difficult because of the plastic coating and, you know, getting worked in. But the bridge shuffles fairly well. A little bit stiff still because I just took them out of the box. That was the first time I ever shuffled them. So just a little bit stiff for now, but I think after a while they will definitely break in and become a part of my tarot studies and of my tarot readings. So yeah, that is the Golden Tarot. The Golden Tarot by Cat Black, published by US Games. And again, nice little tiny box, and I kind of love this box, so it might stay in there for a little while until I either no longer want to keep it in the box or until I get a pouch made for it. So definitely probably gonna stay in the box for a little bit. So anyway, that's all that I have for this tarot talk. Next week I'm going to be doing the Angels, Gods, and Goddesses Oracle. So join me then for that. And until next time, may you guys have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.